It's not even Damian. It's Gordon. Those cops. Nobody believes I'm Batman. I spent years building up respect as Nightwing, and now they're looking at me like I'm one more psycho Batman impersonator. Today, on the Comic Book Report, Batman and Robin, Batman Reborn. Stick around and check it out. Greetings from Gotham, everyone. My name is Dominic, and you are watching The Comic Book Report, where we review comic books and graphic novels so you can get an idea of what to read. Today in the Batcave, we'll be taking a look at Batman and Robin, Batman Reborn, by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. But first, here are a couple quick facts about today's collection. Batman and Robin, Batman Reborn was written by Grant Morrison and penciled by Frank Quitely and Philip Tan. The comics were first published by DC Comics in 2009 and 2010. This volume collects Batman and Robin issues 1 through 6. The paperback I'll be reviewing is 168 pages. Before we continue, I would also like to issue a brief spoiler warning. I will be flipping through the collection today, as well as commenting on some of the plot points. You've been warned. Okay, and here's your look at that Batman and Robin collection that I'll be reviewing today from DC Comics. I just gotta say right off the bat, I love the color palette, the kind of warm orange and yellow. It's such a striking contrast to Batman and Robin on the front, of course. Got some great art as well onto the back of the book in a second here. I just love how they designed it. And something kind of fun about these trade paperbacks is they're not really a glossy finish. I don't know how to describe it. They have a little bit of grip to them. But I really like it. All three of the trade paperbacks for this Batman and Robin run are kind of made of the same material. Of course, switching the colors and some of the cover art and the titles and information and everything like that. You kind of get the picture. And to clarify, when I say these trade paperbacks aren't glossy, I simply mean the covers. The actual inside of this, the paper, is obviously a very nice gloss. It's very well made, just standard size trade paperback. Something else I really like that you definitely don't see often in a trade paperback is a table of contents. I love that it broke down every issue that was in it, as well as within the two main story arcs that are collected in this collection. Both 3 issues, and they all have titles. It's just really nice to see, even in a trade paperback like this. It already set me in a good mood. Of course, you can see the art by Frank Quitely here. It's just gorgeous. I will say that's something off the bat as well. The first arc is Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. The second arc, those last 3 issues, are by Grant Morrison with the penciler Philip Tan. And it's definitely a decidedly different art style in the back half. It's a little bit grittier, less clean. Still a great style, but the Frank Quitely stuff is just really hard to beat. And you see him return later in the run as well. So a little bit about where this run picks up. This is, I think, closer to the middle of Grant Morrison's run. All you need to know without too many spoilers is recently Batman has disappeared, presumed dead, missing, I don't know. But Batman is gone. There's a bit of an unsettling in Gotham when the Bat just hasn't shown up, even when the Bat signal has been shown over and over again. This trade paperback also picks up after the Battle for the Cowl, where a lot of potential successors kind of vie for the mantle of Batman. That ultimately ends up being Nightwing. Dick Grayson assumes the role of Batman, with Damian Wayne, the son of Bruce Wayne, taking up the role as Robin. And this is the book where we really get to see that dynamic established. I really love it. This is such a fresh take on these characters. You have a much more sensitive, kind of empathic Dick Grayson Batman with a very brutal, kind of hard as nails, kind of like his father, Damian Wayne. So the kind of dynamic is sort of reversed. It's just a very interesting feel, but it's fresh and it's great. We get to see Dick trying to take on the role of Batman and kind of not fitting in the suit, so to speak, as he tries to figure out how to still be Batman, but also be himself in the role. And we have Damian, a young adolescent, kind of working through his father issues, as well as kind of trying to figure out how to respect Batman when he doesn't know if he does. Anyway, the setup and characters are just ripe for great storytelling, and Grant Morrison really delivers it in this collection. As far as the story arcs that are presented in this collection, you get some pretty interesting tales. I will say, especially based on Frank Quitely's art, you might be surprised at how dark it gets. This is a very dark, kind of grim story, even though there's some kind of lively, fun lead characters with Batman and Robin here. They are really juxtaposed against some really gruesome stuff. Of course, the appearance of Professor Pig, which I believe this is his first appearance. This character has become one of Batman's rogues gallery that has been brought back over and over again since he first appeared. But he's just kind of deranged and weird and crazy, like so many of the other rogues. But I find Professor Pig very troubling. He's mentally unstable. He's kind of a butcher meets Frankenstein meets just out of his mind loopy. And we have a story there where people are going missing, being kidnapped and turned into these freakish doll slave things. And it's happening all around Gotham, and it's effectively Batman and Robin's first case, taking on these new roles. And it gets pretty intense. We see things like torture, and it just has kind of a body horror kind of feel to it. Like I said, very dark for certain Batman stories. And the second story takes place shortly after. Like I said, decidedly different artwork, and it follows one of the kind of victims of the first volume, kind of transforms into a kind of villainous character herself, and she pairs up with the Red Hood, which I believe is Jason Todd. And this is certainly a fascinating time for that character as well. It's still pretty early into the Red Hood kind of aspect of this character, and you feel that a bit in this Grant Morrison story. And after those extras in the back there, believe it or not, it's already time to give this collection a grade. For a refreshing reshuffling of some of the most classically iconic comic book heroes, matched with the pencil work of two incredible artists. And of course, the introduction to a now regular part of Batman's rogues gallery. The Comic Book Report has to give Batman and Robin, Batman Reborn, by Grant Morrison, an A-. For my money, this is the strongest Batman and Robin run I have ever read. To reread it today for this video was such a treat, even if it was darker than I had remembered. The storytelling is absolutely gripping. And frankly, I was glued to the pages, seeing how Morrison tried to flush out what it really means to be Batman. And of course, to pair that with a very different Robin profile. All I can say is that finishing this volume had me so eager to crack into volume 2. And because this story introduces so many new elements, I frankly think it's a great place for new readers to jump right on in. There is so much more I could say about this run of Batman and Robin, but I think that might have to wait for Volume 2. And that's going to do it today for the Comic Book Report. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing or watching some of my other videos, and have a good one.